In today's video, I'm going to show you the way to how to ultimately build your character so you get exactly the build you want on the classless Ascension server with the wildcard mode. We're going to be maximizing the synergy rerolls without carding anything because, as it turns out, that synergy rerolls get kinda turned off the closer you get to perfecting your build. So we're going to be using a method where you actually don't card anything at all, and initially you will be leaving yourselves completely to the RNG, but eventually when you start getting the rolls you want, the synergy rolls are gonna kick in and you're gonna get the stuff that we actually need. And when you get to the point where you cannot roll things you want, we're just gonna slap the open card slots with things that we miss, thus far perfecting and polishing the build to the point which you have imagined in the first place. Remember that if you want to maximize the gains from this method, you want to come in a little bit prepared beforehand. So you want to farm as many marks of Ascension as possible beforehand, which means playing on the character previously and farming some dailies, some endgame stuff that can basically provide you with the marks of Ascension. This is important because for marks of Ascension you can buy the reroll scrolls on level 60, and this is the only way you can get them on a fresh character, because while prestiging, all the other scrolls get completely deleted, so that's why marks are important in this one. Like I said before, to do this you can either do some dailies from the call board, farm some mana storms as well, you also get marks from there. And if you're a completely new player that is starting your first character, just roll simple spells like Crusader Strike initially, one of the Judgments, Seal of Righteousness for damage, and the Charge to get some ability. This will allow you to go for the one with the light build, which is one of the easiest to roll and play on a level that can allow you to farm all those things we mentioned before very easily on level 60. There are plenty of one with light build guides on the internet, so we're not going to cover it in this one. But like I said, if you're a fresh character and you want to play something else and prepare, you need also the cards exactly for the build you're going after. So you can get your one with the light build to level 60, get as many marks of Ascension as possible. Also, during the process, get some cards, whether it be from the open world or the card packs, because not every skill card or talent card can be obtained from the world. But if you already have some character with some marks of Ascension saved up, this is the perfect moment to start a new character. In this case, I will try to build a Wind Rager, as I haven't tried it this season yet. So for myself, I'm going for a Storm Strike, Lightning Shield, Thunderclap and Charge. When possible, you want to get as many starter skills that fits your build, because this will increase the chance of getting some synergy roll that improves one of those abilities. For me, one of the most important things is of course Storm Strike, because we're looking for things like Wind Strike, Hurricane Strike, Whirlwind, all the improvements for Storm Strike as well. Lightning Shield is nice because when we get the static shock talent, we will have some extra free damage on top of everything. Thunderclap is just a warrior ability that first can help us with leveling because it's AoE, and second, it can also create some synergies like getting some rage regen and stuff like that, so nice to have. And Charge is for obvious reasons, because of extra mobility. It's only one possible choice in here, and we don't really have any more synergies to get on level 1 for this build in particular, so this is how we roll. If you're going for some rogue build, for example, be sure to check all the backstab, sinister strikes, take as many as you possibly can, then you're going to get those extra juicy synergy rerolls along the way. So another step we want to take in is go for the trials and turn on the resolute mode. This is mainly because before level 20, all the adventure caches that we get actually have higher chance to give us some rerolls. Thus far, we want to complete all 3 starter zones on resolute mode and then turn it off and go for level 60 as soon as possible. Unless, of course, you will be pretty lucky and you get some good stuff on until level 20, then you can level via BGs or things like that. Because, yeah, otherwise, usually you will have some very big amount of random shit that is unplayable. Thus far, leveling through mana storms or BGs will be a pain in the ass. Unless, of course, you have some friends that can help you, things like that. There are always different cases for different people. For me, I just want to get as many rerolls as possible until level 20. So completing 3 starter zones, get as many as possible, try to roll things I want. Remember that you can always check on what level the skill you're looking for actually unlocks. So you can, for example, keep the scrolls until that particular level and then start re-rolling. And this is quite good, especially for things that roll on level 10 or level 20, because you have lesser overall pool of skills or talents thus far, increasing your chance to actually get the one you want. So early usage of scrolls is actually very highly advised, especially for things that start at level 10 or 20. So for this build, as you can see, I can get Windstrike on level 10, I can get Whirlwind on level 14, good talents like Rampart Tornado or Rising Winds that buff our Storm Strike also are on level 10, so I can actually start re-rolling very early to increase your chance of getting some playable build quite fast, thus far also increasing chance of getting those synergy rolls a little bit faster. And to complete all the 3 starter zones, a thing like travel permit is very advisable. It can be bought off auction house or the shop. This will actually allow you to teleport to each starter zone with single click. This is just a convenience item. You can also go on your own legs, but this will take longer. Remember that if you're a night elf or a dwarf on level 10, you can get into a mana storm and then leave it, and this will teleport you instantly into the Stormwind, thus saving some traveling time. So let's have a look. We got 7 adventure caches, and from those 7 caches we got 4 talents and 2 skills rerolls, so it's pretty good amount, and this is on level 5, sorry. So we got those pretty freaking early. Let's finish up the other starter zones quick and get this done. This step is optional, of course, but as you can see, to maximize the gains, it's very advisable. Also, please do remember that travel permit, if you have it, only works up until level 9. So I finished all the 3 starter zones on level 10 with 4 scrolls of fortune for skills and 13 for talents, which is not something crazy, but allows you a very nice start in case you get some very bad things. Now there are 2 choices you have to make, or 1 choice, but you have 2 ways of doing things. First, you can leave the ability cards free up until later and just pray to the RNG gods, or you can slap the cards you need straight up, and then you can actually have higher chance of getting those synergy rolls you are looking for. Talent cards actually have to stay empty because they are overall harder to roll than the skills themselves. And to be honest, if you are going for PvE and don't need some kind of, I don't know, stuns, defensive cooldowns, maybe some offensive cooldowns, you can still make it, because most of the builds actually use only like 3 or 4 slots in total, and then you can keep the 2 empty slots, or 3, whichever you decide, to slap some offensive cooldowns, for example, or defensive for a tank, to complement the things you already have. And you kind of increase your chance of getting those synergy rolls and kind of save up some of the scrolls, because you can use also, remember that you can also use normal scrolls of fortune that are used for abilities also to roll talents, but you cannot do the otherwise, the vice versa. So you actually give yourself more chances for good talent rolls, not only because of the possible synergy rolls, but also the sheer amount of increased rerolls themselves. It's up to you to decide. I actually want to slap Whirlwind, Windstrike, and Wind Fury Toad weapon, as those are like my most important things. I also get Hurricane Strike, and then I leave 2 slots open in the future for things like offensive cooldowns and stuff like that. I could possibly get Air Ascendance, for example. I could also increase pure physical damage, because in here basically everything you do is also physical, so there's plenty of way to do this. But the core is here, and I can get more talent rerolls thanks to that, and get all those juicy stuff. As cooldowns can wait, we actually want more to stack all those juicy buffs we can get to increase the damage itself. So I'm gonna straight up reroll my Raptor Strike or a Wind Strike, and then proceed to level up. Don't forget to deactivate your Resolute mode. So I actually joined a trio Mana Storm just to get more scrolls during leveling. I've got Potion of Experience and Aura of Experience, so this should go fast. Okay, we're level 60 finally. For the Prestige quest itself, we get 10,000 Marks of Ascension. Ascension. By collecting all the scrolls of fortune we can possibly get, we sit in around 400 rerolls in total. From what I heard from many people, around 500, yeah, 500 rerolls. It is actually possible to make the build work. So let's test it out. I'll see you guys when I'm done with the rerolling. Okay, so we have almost used all of our rerolls and we actually got some of the good stuff. So for this build, I did receive 505 mental quickness, which is great for everybody, 505 polyax spec, raising winds, 505 enrage, overheated strikes, 3 out of 3 static shock for some extra damage, an ending fury to reduce the cooldown of whirlwind in case of enrage, outrage, which increases our physical damage even further, martial crescendo, which is great as well, doom winds, which will increase our wind fury procs by quite a lot, frost lich for some additional damage, harbinger of flame as well, and some lesser things that just purely increase our damage. So we didn't still receive too many core talents, but we did some of them. Also on the spell side, I did do some rerolls and I did get Aspect of the Beast, which increases melee attack power by 5%, Death Wish, which is a great offensive cooldown, Sweeping Strikes for example, a lot of charges like Battle Charge, Intercept, so some of the good stuff. I could still farm my dailies and obtain another around 150,000 marks of Ascension to further reroll the talents, but can probably get some of the stuff we need. This method with lots of rolls is actually a lot better because during the process of fishing for those special talents, you are also upgrading all of your other talents like things like one-hand specializations, mental quickness, stuff like that. It can all pop during your rerolls, so this is quite important as well because those percentages in damage increase actually play quite a big role for scaling. So as you can see, we still have 2 slots for the skills and all slots for talents. So for the sake of this video, we're not going to be rerolling anymore. I'm just going to slap some of the missing parts and we're going to see if this build is any good to actually get it any further. In case it does, I can always just prestige, get even more marks of Ascension, get more marks of Ascension first, then prestige it, get even more scrolls and rerolls from the another prestige, and just rinse and repeat. We have 8 talents left, so we get all the good stuff we needed. Okay, we're still missing some of the stuff from this build, but just for the sake of this video, let's check out the DPS WoW can actually achieve. It's over 4,000, and taking into consideration my gear, which is basically item level of 16, because everything we have here are just heirlooms. Okay, so it seems that with Titan's Grip, we are able to do over 5k with this build, so if you would like to play Wind Ranger, go for Titan's Grip definitely. Okay guys, so I hope this quick guide did cover everything you wanted to know. Just remember, farm as many marks of Ascension as possible before going into this one. Making a lot of prestiges beforehand is also good because you initially get a big chunk of scrolls for rerolls. Make sure that you know what you want to roll, and as always, may the RNG gods be with you.